Have you ever felt like something was breaking inside you, but you kept smiling anyway? Like something invisible is weighing on your chest, something no one else sees, but it follows you everywhere. You wake up with it. You go to work with it. You laugh with friends with it. You fall asleep with it. Maybe it's the grief of someone who left too soon. Maybe it's the words you heard as a child, the ones that made you believe you weren't enough. Maybe it's something no one ever saw. A silence, a touch, a moment your body remembers even when your mind doesn't. Maybe the pain came from the very people who were supposed to love you. Parents who didn't know how. Mothers who resented you. Fathers who disappeared. Siblings who outshined you. Or maybe it came later, from a betrayal, an abusive relationship, or a deep, aching loneliness. Sometimes the wound isn't even clear. You just know something inside you hurts, and it never really healed. Trauma is not about what happened. It's about what happened inside you as a result. It's not the event itself, but the way it shattered your ability to feel safe, seen, and whole. Trauma is the moment your system became overwhelmed and couldn't process what was happening. So it shut down. And what the mind couldn't handle, it buried. But what's buried doesn't vanish. It waits. It leaks. It hijacks. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." You might not even remember your trauma, but your nervous system does. It remembers in the form of anxiety that won't go away, in the way you can't relax, even when nothing's wrong, in the way you stay in relationships that hurt you, or run away from those that try to love you. It shows up in your difficulty trusting, in your fear of being abandoned, in your need to control everything, in your fear of being truly seen. You think you're too emotional, too angry, too much, or not enough. But those are not your flaws. They are your survival strategies. Your trauma doesn't want to ruin your life. It just wants to be seen. The worst part of trauma isn't just the pain. It's the way it shapes who you become. It builds walls where you needed bridges. It teaches you to expect disappointment. It turns love into danger. You learn to perform instead of connect. You learn to stay small so no one hurts you again. You learn to numb your joy because joy feels vulnerable. Trauma creates patterns. It creates complexes, as Jung called them. Parts of us that get frozen in time, stuck in the moment of pain, and continue living inside us like tiny broken voices. These complexes replay the same story over and over. The breakup, the betrayal, the failure, the rejection, until you finally listen to what they're trying to say. Let me be clear. You are not broken. Your reactions are not weakness. They are intelligence. Emotional intelligence designed for survival. But survival is not enough. You're here to live, not just to get by. Healing begins when you stop blaming yourself for how you coped. When you stop saying, "I should be over this." When you finally say, "I'm ready to understand this." Because what you're carrying isn't shame, and it's pain. And pain, when met with compassion, becomes power. So how do you heal? First, you stop running. You stop numbing with work, with scrolling, with substances, with toxic positivity. You start noticing. Gently. When you get triggered, pause. Ask, what does this remind me of? Not what's wrong with me, but where is this coming from? Then you write, every day, even a few minutes, your story, your truth, no filter. Let your hands say what your mouth was never allowed to. You meet your inner child, You ask her what she needed. You don't shame her for her fear. You hold her. You let your body speak. Through breath, through movement, through stillness. You draw your pain. You ritualize it. You burn the letters you never sent. You cry without apologizing. And when it feels too much, you ask for help. A therapist, a group, a guide, or even just someone who listens without fixing. Healing is not linear. You'll fall back sometimes. You'll doubt. You'll rage. You'll grieve. But every time you choose to stay instead of run, you reclaim a part of yourself. And one day, you'll wake up lighter. You'll realize that you're no longer defined by what broke you. That the story you lived is not the story you're living now. You'll still remember, but the memory won't own you. You'll still feel, but you won't drown. You'll still carry your past, but it will no longer carry you. You are not your trauma. You are what survived it. You are what rises. You are what begins again. So if this touched you, say it out loud. My trauma does not define me. Write it in the comments, for yourself, for someone else who needs to read it. Because healing begins when silence ends. And today, that silence ends.